Hey guys, welcome to the Powerful Man Show, where we help married businessmen save their marriages without having to talk about it, get unstuck, and gain clarity in their lives. As I like to say, life is too short for average. I'm your host, Doug Holt, with my co host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. Now let's get this started. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. I'm your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. I missed that introduction, buddy. I used to love doing that because I love your reaction when I first started calling you the Powerful Man Matthews.
So
How excited you would get.
Excited.
You would get so excited.
I find
I
it
picture
funny.
like my son jumps up and down when he's excited. I
Come
picture you
off
over there.
it. Fucking hell.
Well, Tim, today we're going to talk about the fastest way to fix a marriage, a struggling marriage, without your wife's help.
Mhm.
So this topic comes up because a lot of guys have been saying, well, geez, I can't fix my marriage on my own. My wife needs to do the work
Mhm.
first. And this is the classic scenario where the guy believes, the man, that it's all his wife's fault, right? And there's nothing that he can do. And that's not the case. In fact, most of our men who come into our program, the activation method, which is our flagship program, when they come into the activation method, what they find is usually for most guys within a few weeks, they're able to start turning their marriage around. Now, it doesn't happen to all the guys, right? Some take longer. Some guys, unfortunately, have left it too late. And here we are coming through the holidays. So I think this is especially timely because obviously during the holidays, what tends to happen is there's more stress. There's more demands put on you, your wife, and the relationship.
Mhm.
And out of that comes a lot of shit tests, a lot of testing of who you are. But more importantly, after the holidays, in the first week of January, it's known as Divorce Day. And that's where most of the divorces are filed. Lawyers call it divorce day or solicitors, depending on where you live. And you can Google this, guys. And over 70% of divorces are filed by the woman. And that goes up to 90% of divorces are filed by the woman, by the wife, if she has a college education or above. So, what is the fastest way to fix a struggling marriage without your wife's help? Well, we're going to get into the details here in a little bit, but let me give you a hint. It has to do with a man listening to this, to the man watching this. The fastest way to fix your struggling marriage is to start working on you, is to start becoming the better version of you, the best version of you. As you start on that journey, things start to shape up. Dominoes get in alignment, and you need that first domino to push over.
Yeah, I want to take us right back to the beginning just for a moment because I think it's very important. If you resonate with this and you are finding yourself telling yourself the story that you can't fix it until your wife fixes it, then I would like for you to consider how you might be giving away the frame to your wife and the leadership to your wife in many other areas of the marriage. Because the reality is there's a very clear indication that if you are buying into this story, then you have given away the leadership and you are looking to your wife for direction and you are looking to your wife for permission. And when she says, okay, let's fix this, you then go and get to work. That is not what she wants. And that is highly unlikely to happen. And more importantly, that is not what you want. You don't want your wife to say, okay, let's fix this. And then you go, okay, yeah, let's fix this. And you follow her lead. That's not the best situation in our experience. And, we've worked with a lot of marriages, a lot of men who have been on the brink of divorce, have been separated, sleeping in separate rooms, not had sex for years. And every time they see a huge shift, and it all comes from what Doug's going to share with you.
Yeah. And so, guys, when you look at this and you're looking at the fastest way to do it is starting with the ARS, your Alpha, Rise, and Shine. Right? We've done a lot of podcasts on exactly how we teach the Alpha, Rise, and Shine. And we do it a little differently. So if you're in a coaching environment, we actually customize it for the guys. But starting with your alpha rise and shine, what's going to happen if you don't already have this morning routine? And it coincides with the decompression routine, which we'll talk about. But the alpha rise and shine, what tends to happen for the guys is all of a sudden your wife notices that you're getting up early in the morning. She's like, what the heck is he doing? Right. And not only that, but you're taking care of yourself, right? You're doing your meditation or your whether it be a walking meditation, a seated meditation, you're doing your exercises, you're working out, you're taking care of your health. Your vibrancy is increasing by doing this. You're also journaling. So you're learning new skills, right? As you're journaling and getting things out. Your wife is seeing this happen. Now, this is akin to investing in a stock, and then all of a sudden you see the stock's price start to rise. And when you see a stock's price start to rise, guys, do you jump out of that stock or do you get more curious and start checking it a little bit more, right? The answer is you start checking it more. You start watching this stock as it continues to rise. And as your stock starts to rise, your wife is going to start to take notice. You're going to become more interesting to her, right? You become a curiosity to her. And what happens is, as she takes notice, she's also noticing, hey, look, he's doing those things that he said he's wanted to do. I mean, how many times have all of us talked about getting in better shape or doing betterment for ourselves? A lot of us have. And she's noticing you doing this. And so when you couple this, the alpha rise and shine, with the alpha decompression, where you're coming home with calm energy when you enter the house, you're centered. You're not being reactive. So you're no longer in DEAR mode. And DEAR is an acronym for defend, excuse, explain, react, which most of us nice guys get into. I was in it for sure. But now you're coming home. You're not only starting the day as a wolf, but you're coming home as a wolf, which is an acronym for wise, open, loving, and fierce. Your wife's energy is going to start to shift. She's going to start responding to you in a different way. Now, she used to respond to you as the deer when you defend, excuse, explain, react, and that would set her off, right? She's responding to that energy. That would probably put her off, push her further away. And a lot of women say they don't feel safe. But when you come in as the wolf, you're doing your alpha rise and shine, you're doing your decompression. She's going to respond to that energy as well. And her response is going to be much more favorable, much more positive to you. She's actually going to want to be around you. She wants to know what you're doing. Why are you doing it? And it's very common, Tim, when a man joins our program and starts doing the alpha rise and shine, the decompression, along with the triadic connection, which we teach, that the women start thinking he's having an affair. Who's the other woman is a common thing that the wives start to think. One wife she's saying, hey, I want a divorce. And then a week later, she's like, hey, are you having an affair? Wait a minute, I want to get back. And she's going after her husband and trying to win him back, which is a completely 180 from where he was a week ago. And this is what you have to do, guys. We get to realize that us as men, as leaders, we can take control of the energy in our home, energy in our relationships. And once we realize that our wife, in this case, is reacting to who we are, to how we have been showing up, if we agree that, hey, she's reacting to the way I've been showing up, then doesn't it make sense that she can also react to the way you are going to show up in a positive manner now? And we can switch that energy. Guys, we've seen this thousands, literally thousands of times. So we know it to be true. And it is the fastest way to fix a struggling marriage. Now, of course, you add on the triadic connection and a bunch of other things that we teach, the clean slate method, hidden motives technique. That is like a catalyst. That's like adding gasoline to the fire. But it all starts with you, with your shifts in energy, going from a deer to a wolf and taking charge of your day, of your life, and not being a victim.
Guys, the same is true of the people in your company.
Mm-hmm.
Completely. Your team are going to respond to your energy. The performance of the company is going to reflect your the way that you show up, quite frankly, everything that Doug's been saying. How driven your team are, how clear they are, how inspired they are, how much initiative that they use. They're going to respond to you. They've already been responding to you. This is how, along with experiencing huge shifts in the marriage, the guys are able to experience huge shifts in the business as well. We have a saying, walls start to open, doors start to open in walls that the men have previously been trying to walk around or climb over. How is that? It's because synchronicities start to align. They become clear headed. They're able to seize opportunities. They speak with more clarity and certainty. They give better direction. They're more decisive. It's the same thing that they do at home. And this is how they're able to be killing it in the bedroom as well as in the boardroom. I know it might sound like a big claim. I get it. And I'd probably have doubts about it if I was you and I heard it. At the same time, we've seen it time and time again and again. You can go to thepowerfulman.com/results. You can see everything there if you so wish. But you're hitting the nail on the head, Doug. Even the guys in the inner circle, they were talking about this in the Wolverine's private Voxer channel they have. They were talking about the impact that they have when they're walking through the door after doing the decompression versus when they don't do the decompression. How their family responds to them and reacts to them, and how important it is for them to set the tone of the house when they're walking through the door so they can then create the kind of environment and evening that they want to have, all through how they show up.
Yeah, it's 100%, guys. Once we take ownership of our lives, our businesses, and everything else, this is when the change happens. But it starts with the first step, guys. It starts with the first step. So whether you join the activation method or not, we've given you the tools for the Alpha Rise and Shine. We've given you the tools for the decompression, right? We have over 600 podcasts thus far. That's 600 episodes that you can go through the archives. We've made them all available, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. That's all available for you for free, right? Now, obviously, going through the program, it's going to go in much more detail and nuance, but the basics, you can start that today or tomorrow morning for the Alpha Rise and Shine. Set yourself up tonight for success for tomorrow. Tim, you and I were talking about this. I'll lay out my workout clothes the night before. I have an alarm that goes off around 7 p.m. I have little kids, but it reminds me to set myself up for success. And I'll lay out my clothes. I'll get the coffee ready. I'll do all those little things that make the Alpha Rise and Shine almost impossible for me to miss. Almost impossible, right? I don't get it every time. I'm not perfect, but you also can have shorter versions and longer versions and all of those things. But that allows me to be the catalyst. That allows me to control and be proactive with the energy that I approach my day with. It allows me to dictate my day rather than my day dictating me or anybody else coming into there. And when I can do that, I can lead with a very, very wolf energy, I'll just say. Wise, open, loving, and fierce. And my whole family responds to that. I have a little daughter. I have a son who's going to be turning 6, and my wife. And they respond to my energy. When I have a lot of anxiety, just as we all do it from time to time, or if I'm upset, they pick up on that energy and that vibe, right? Don't you guys agree? Your wife, your kids, they pick up when you're angry, right? And they react, and people don't want to be around you as much when you're grumpy. But the same is true. You can be like a magnet attracting them when you're in a different frequency, in a different vibration, so to speak. Right? That's what we want to be in more. As powerful men, this is the area we want to live in, to thrive in, and be consistent in this energetic force. It's not always perfect. It doesn't always look pretty, but most of the time it does. And this is the fastest way to fix a struggling marriage, guys, is really own your side of the street and do what you can do, control those things you can control. And the only thing that you can control, guys, is you. That's it. You can't control your wife. You can't control your kids, right? You can yell, you can scream, you can kick, you can pound the table, right? And they'll listen to you for a little bit, but you get to control yourself. And it starts with your Alpha Rise and Shine. And at the end of the day, you have to have a decompression routine, right? And that's not just pouring another glass of scotch, right? A decompression routine that allows you to set yourself up for success, allows you to reflect on the day, get the lessons from that day so you can continue to grow, and like a stock, that your price can continue to rise.
I love it. Well said.
Gentlemen, as we always say in the moment of insight, take massive action. This is your chance. If your marriage is even if it's just good, it deserves to be great. And you get to change that. You get to make that happen. I'm not saying it's 100% in your control, because it's not. But your actions are 100% in control. The way that you respond to things is 100% in your control. And I want you to have that. because having that control is actually freedom. That is true freedom, boys. And that's what we want for you. Gentlemen, we'll see you next time on The Powerful Man Show. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this episode. But as I always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. You see, there are two types of men that listen to a podcast like this. Those that go on from one podcast or show to another, just hoping things are going to change and realizing that they're going to be in the same place month after month, year after year. You see, I was this guy, so I completely get it. You may just not be ready. But there's also a second man that listens to a show just like this. And this is a guy who takes massive action so they can shorten the learning curve, compress time, and get results to be the wolf. See, wolf is an acronym for wise, open, loving, and fierce. Now, ask yourself, which one am I? And just be honest with yourself there. And there's no judgment on my end, but if you're ready to move from deactivated deer mode, which is defend, excuse, explain, react, to activated wolf, wise, open, loving, and fierce, then go over to thepowerfulman.com/grow and go there now. In fact, I'll make it super easy for you. I will even put the link right in the description here so you can just click it and go over there now to learn more. Guys, in the moment of insight, take massive action. Go from deactivated to activated because like I said, life is too short for average. And I'll see you on the next episode.